Hello everybody and welcome back to Ears to the East, where Neon has changed significantly. Or is that you, Benedict? Who is it? It's a mime!
I was just contacting you about your car insurance, and things have gone terribly wrong.
No, they've
Help?
gone terribly right because car insurance, man. I desperately need a co-host today. All right, so for anyone,
You're not my supervisor.
wait, let me put you on hold for a second there. Well, actually, talking about giving people music, I did give you some music, and I'm going to explain to everyone why quickly. So, Neon's still unwell, but now Benedict's gone and joined him by having a bunch of issues going on with his schedule as well. So, as a result, I was looking for someone to draft in, and I thought, who better than my Bucker Broadcast co-creator, general bringer of all madness, lover of things Japanese, and yet somewhat very casual about following up on anything unless it's absolutely batshit crazy anime or, you know, just he doesn't know the general information. He knows all the fringe information. It's that guy. It's Bubbles. For those who've been like following back a broadcast, you might remember that Bubbles occasionally come on. I've played him some music, but I decided to send him 4 songs that I don't think he's heard, 4 relatively recent songs, to get his opinion. Because occasionally Bubbles will swing by and tell us what he thinks about various songs that I play him, to go, hey, Bubs, is this normal? And thus that is what we did. I gave him a list of 4 songs. He's listened to them.
That's great. Ask the Irish guy. We can claim U2 and Jedward. That is a musical journey between those 2 bands. And you went, is this normal? I have no idea.
I like how you said that, and something has happened to your camera. I don't know what, but just something. There we go. He's back. All right. So, well, first of all, talking on the grand scale of is this normal? The first song I sent you was by Ano. And this is quite a music video. I'll drop a little. Everyone's seeing a little image of it now on screen, so you'll know which one we're talking about. Let's get your responses to this.
Okay, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Never have I encountered a Japanese musician whose name mostly sets me back to listening to my mother be disappointed in me. No, don't do that. Don't, Jesus, no. Anyway.
Yeah, her name doesn't translate well into other languages, but then again, it doesn't translate specifically very well into Japanese as well.
I knew a girl from Basque. I know this is not the setup to a dirty limerick, but I had a friend from Basque, and her name was Anoa, which also sounds like, oh yeah, I know her.
I was going to say, did you know her? No, anyway, sorry, I'm really playing for the bad jokes today.
I know, but okay, so this youngster of a lunatic here, Anoa. Oh man, the visuals, mental stuff. Like it pulled in. The video and the song, right? I need to separate out the 2 things because I know taken together. I remember you showing me that McDonald's from Wish video from her.
I did, yeah. I played you the Smile Like an Eye previously. The song that she did for where it ended up being a McDonald's theme tune, whether it was done for them or not is a whole different question.
Yeah. So I was looking forward to it, right? There's no doubt I was going to be looking forward to it. It was a completely different song from that one, completely different style, you know. So it wasn't like you had said, oh well, he kind of like this one. We'll give him something with a similar thread for the second before we throw him a complete curveball. So this one, in my usual tone, I have extracted the song information from the video.
That's a curious thing to do with this video.
Oh my God. It really makes me think I should learn Japanese or stay away from the internet. There is a vast difference between the two, but I think either one would make me happy. Um, yeah, man. It started like I don't know if you realize the songs that you sent me all had a particular trend, which was loud, then quiet, then loud, then quiet.
That's interesting. We will get onto a larger overarching theme a little bit later, but okay, that's an interesting observation.
And this kind of struck me as I was listening to this tune, which was the quiet parts were a different song to the loud parts as such, you know?
It
The kind of
does
more rockier
flip, yeah.
aspect. But you know when you kind of have those all of a sudden like you'd hear a kind of a let's say a rock or a guitar track and then suddenly it goes acoustic, you know? You kind of understand that kind of the way that they transferred from that particular level of like noise or distortion and then when acoustic just to kind of like snap you into listen, wake you up and make sure that you're listening to a track, which is something that I think that lots of artists do as a point to keep the audience orally focused.
Yeah.
No, that's the wrong one. Hourly. That sounds even worse somehow.
I was about to say, you're throwing the
Ear
Irish accent on
focused.
there to try and make it sound different. I think they both sound pretty much the same. Ear focused, yes.
Mate, I had a French exam and the teacher would used to talk to us like this. She goes, you have to learn French, but there's oral and oral, and made these hand gestures and never explained which one was oral, which one was oral, just went oral and oral. I was like, yeah, I'm never gonna learn French.
I'm about to say, we've all seen
But
that movie. Anyway.
it was also French. I had documentary, lads, documentary. So, okay, first off, video, absolutely lovely video, like really, really creative. Like whoever directed or came up with the concept just went, do you know what? Howard's colorblind, so fuck him, and we're gonna put all the colors in here,
Well, it was
no matter what.
It was a real treat for me. It was like one of the first videos I've actually been able to see in years.
I'm surprised you didn't get some sort of fit from watching it, to be quite honest.
It is rather seizure inducing, but I think it's one of those ones where it's weird how so many different things happen on the screen and yet somehow it does flow really well, which to me is a demonstration of a really well directed, insane video, is when it can actually flow in a way where you're not really quite grabbing everything in the moment, but it's flowing well and you watch it back and you start understanding more, but it never feels jarring at the time. It just feels more like, whoa, I'm taking in a lot right now.
Like you have Anno in her little. Now I know it's not like a full kimono, and there's probably I know there's different variations of dress, if you know what I mean. But it's more in the fact that she has on this little kimono-esque top outfit, and then boots with like I can only describe as Jerry Halliwell levels of fucking height about them. Like I can only assume that the minute Ano puts these on, she is a full size 4'8". Just stop. The boots just immediately just.
She's actually comparatively quite tall for a Japanese lady. She's actually not that short. So with the shoes, she's probably pretty tall actually.
I rarely saw her stand next to any of the other humans. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. There's not many other humans in this video that you can identify and guarantee are human.
And I'm very disturbed with mouse masks that have the exact look of what would a mouse do if it was doing an impression of Popeye.
Oh,
And
do you mean the sort of the ooh face thing?
Yeah.
That's actually a very traditional kabuki character. So that's a very well recognized mask from kabuki theater. So that character is always like the comic relief character in kabuki theater.
It looked like something to me that it was meant to be there. I know, it's physically there. Yes, it's meant to be there, but it felt like it was some sort of reference to something rather than it's just being there to be weird.
I think
If that makes sense.
I think that's probably partially true. The cat definitely is a reference to something. The puking cat.
Dude, the fucking cat puking up Patrick's Day wearing its fucking tidy whities on its head.
I didn't get the Irish reference then. Yeah, it's puking up Paddy's Day, isn't it? It does look like he's had
Yeah, fuck me. I'm just like, what did you get? Ebola? Jesus, no, Paddy's Day. It's constantly like Rick and Morty style puke on its face. All the cats are dead. All the cats are wearing tidy whities on their head. This woman is swinging a pickaxe against mice. So crazy cat lady killed all her cats. I have no idea.
I love this. I love the subplot that you're pulling into this that I'd never considered. Because I mean, I didn't consider kabuki characters as being mice, but if we consider them as being mice, then yes, this could be seen as some sort of cats versus mice insane. I don't even know.
They had like a bluish or grey paint on the masks. And because they're out like this, and they're obviously missing the Popeye fucking pipe, which I think is an absolute disaster.
Missing, you mean unintended? But yes. Popeye came afterwards. I think you'll find.
I'm strong to the finish because I poison cats with spinach. Look, that could be the other thing. We don't know.
Popeye the Kabuki man.
Yeah, and she's sitting up on this Wonka-esque, what I can only describe as graffiti truck. It's just spraying all sorts of good vibes and colors everywhere. And you have these guys standing in front of it with their pickaxes. And these lads, right, you got to imagine if they've got all these pickaxes, they've worked a shift already doing something. Probably fixing a road in 3 hours like Japan normally does when something falls apart. Like, nah, fuck it. The whole thing fell apart. Lads, knock it up there, yeah? Don't worry, we're paying OT. And it's done, yeah? And now they've wandered into this woman, crazy cat lady, trying to break up the union because she doesn't like mice. And she's like, you should pay cats more. Why are your cats dead, missus?
I don't know what's more of a journey, the video or your description of the video. But if we're ever going to get to the next song, I'm going to need you to come to some sort of conclusive belief about this.
As far as the tune itself, I thought it was nice, but it was disconcerting the change between the kind of louder elements and the smaller elements because it became a different song. I didn't really know what I was going for. In terms of the video, it's a very disturbing look at how Japan treats unions. They're like, no, the fat cats can do more. Why are your cats dead? Again, no follow-up questions, please. Just get on with it, you know? And they don't like mice, which is obviously low-paid workers. They don't treat them well, but they're unionized, which is smart of the workers. And I think all in all, if I was going to wear underpants on my head...
They got the little bonnets on. It's very USSR. It's very sort of like, we have to fight we have to fight the revolution.
I don't know why suddenly we went all fucking Russian grandma on it. You're going to have to explain this one to me. Like, we're going to Anatevka and we're going to, like, Fiddler on the Roof, get rid of all the people and whatever. I don't know what's going on. What's that Russian author guy who's all about the misery?
Oh, God. Oh,
exactly.
Yeah. No, I know the one you mean, though. The really famous one. Yeah.
Yeah. Which we can't remember because we're dealing with Japan and we're trying to keep it more Easterly. See? Or an Easter egg around Easter.
You've fallen short of the East a little bit, a few 100,000 miles. Okay.
I have to say, she's a really exciting artist. Whatever she's doing, I would be interested to see, hear, whatever. I think it's more, her kind of stuff is more of an art installation than, let's just say, music or a visual. Like, I get the impression that there's more going throughout everything with her than just can be contained within a 3-4 minute pop video.
So I think it'd be fair to say, I mean, we've briefly discussed her in the past, and just for the sake of folks at home, so obviously Anna, she recently had a debut album, but she'd been milling around sort of like working up to this for a while with a few singles and things. And the one thing that became very clear is that she was very good at capturing a lot of different moods and emotions. And this was the last single to come out from the album. And what came across was this just felt like this was like they took all the money they had left over, threw it into the video, and the song was clearly, this sits right at the beginning of the album, and it's clearly just, this is the culmination of all, put it all together, you get this is kind of like her going through everything, like a little bit of a display of so I think there's an art installation quality to this. But the next song, there is, as of yet, no music video for. And this was, I decided, for anyone who's watched my video, well, the video we did with Benedict on Is These, where we were talking about the songs, we spoke about this song, which was Twinkle by TRiDENT. Not Tinkle before you make that joke. I can just see you working up to Twinkle by TRiDENT.
Right, somebody's getting notions of fucking average here. Christ on a bike.
You set the bar low in the last one.
I was talking about the plight of the worker.
I see. Yeah, I'm about to say what
abuse.
What you lacked in dad jokes, you made up for in rather disturbing mid 20th century metaphors. So let's see what you got out of Twinkle by TRiDENT. I nearly said Tinkle.
Twinkle, tinkle, little. Anyhow, moving on.
I should blame myself. Carry on.
Right. I want everybody to know that it's completely unlike the first video, first song, simply because it has no kind of surreal sequel to Animal Farm about it and the plight of labor. However, I gotta say, TRiDENT, you know, like you've been playing them a lot on various channels, and it's just a good song. It's a good rock, driving rock song, right? My only complaint about it was basically the synth or special effects to kind of give it that kind of dance music-y vibe to it. Absolutely unnecessary, because if you actually listen to the track over and over, you can hear a squeaky wheel on a trolley. I shit you not. They left one of the sound effects looped and going through the whole fucking thing, and all I can think is walking through Tesco's with a fucking trolley that's going like that.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that. I feel you might have ruined the song for a lot of people, myself included. Once we identify
really, it's subtle, but once you hear it, you can't unhear it throughout the whole song. And I think that.
Are you sure that your headphones aren't broken and that you were like headbanging and you were getting a squeaking sound out of the? It could have been that.
Look, just because I threw my headphones at some pigeons outside my window earlier has no bearing on this.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. Oh God.
They've shit on me 3 times since I've moved into this place. We have beef.
Yeah.
It's legit.
Don't start on the pigeons. That's not going to end well. Moving on. Quickly, get back to the song quickly.
Look, the thing about TRiDENT that I like about it is not just the vocals, not just the instrument work. It's more about the consistency. They really know what they want to do. And when they put it out here, like Twinkle or a jam, like they could name it anything and it may sound like several different songs, but they do manage to set it apart. And even though you know what kind of bars are coming next, or you know what kind of musical arrangement is coming next, it still doesn't detract from the fact that it's just solid. It's a good tune, and and to be honest, anything else that you play by TRiDENT, I've always got that impression from them. I'm not saying that they're without, you can't discount them on certain things or whatever, or you can niggle at certain things like I did about the fucking dubby dance music, whatever.
I want to dive into a little bit of what you said there, though, because okay, so obviously. The interesting thing is that you've heard some TRiDENT. Obviously, though, you've kind of basically heard like a selection, like I think most people would if they kind of casually heard it rather than hearing the whole detail, which is interesting because obviously from my perspective, I'm going to say things like, one of the reasons I like them is that although pretty much all their songs are rock, they have an incredible amount of variation within that. And this, so that obviously that isn't a defense. You can't defend any one song based on that. You can't say, "Oh, well, you'd like this song if you heard the rest of the catalog." But that's probably where I'm approaching it from, because you mentioned about the production, and actually, you were not alone. When I talked about the song on Backer Broadcast, I got a few people
Yeah.
mentioning similar things, and some people isolated just to this and one other song. Some people isolate it to Trident as a general in the last couple of years. Now, my feeling towards it is I'm 100%, I'm all for that production thing. And the reason I say that is because the band's a three-piece. And the intriguing thing for me is that unlike a lot of bigger bands where you get like a four-piece, five-piece band, when they play, there's already like so much sound there that it can sometimes get lost within itself, especially if you've got two guitarists. One of the things that I really like about a lot of three-piece bands, and Trident is one of them, is that you've kind of got a choice. You can do your songs two ways. You can either do them really raw, sounding like a three-piece and just showing off your talents, or you can say, well, look, let's put in other sounds and put them around, because it's not like having two guitars. It's not like that kind of thing where the sounds will all get in the way of each other. The sounds are distinct enough if you pick weird sounds. They're distinct enough that they will complement rather than interrupt. And for me, when I was hearing all those glitched out sounds and the sort of EDM sounds, for me, none of them interrupted the song. They just kind of complemented it, sat on top and added a little bit of extra color. So I'm okay with that, because I kind of feel like it settles into that thing I always say. I want a band to sound very different live from how they do on the album. When I hear the album, I want to hear them getting that little bit of creativity, doing the stuff they maybe couldn't do live, and then when they go and do it live, play it raw. So I actually was all for that.
I understand that. It's just those small breaks didn't play into the song for me.
You felt they detracted
If
from
you they were a distraction rather than a detraction, because when you have a kind of like sound bites, sound effects, however you want to describe them, right, thrown in, for some it's part of the song, it's integral to the song, that some of these things be here, but for this it just felt like it was kind of like, what's going on? This is all very tinny as well going through. So it wasn't like, for me, it was very much, again, I know I'm joking about the wobbly wheel, but when you hear that kind of thing and there isn't anything else
No, I do know
kind
what
of
you mean.
being
Yeah.
brought to it, I wouldn't be adverse to them in other songs having those kind of breaks or doing some other breaks. And to your point of it doing it live, right? Yeah, you could argue, oh, they could press a button on stage and recreate all that. But I think stuff like that is an opportunity for them to really kind of play about with whatever that break was that they were using live,
No,
if you know what I mean.
that's what I
And
mean. Is that you've got that choice.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
a
yeah.
million different ways. You can either try and recreate it in an interesting way, or you can just pull it out of your live version and do a live version that does not include that. So I think it's the fact that you don't have to go, oh, well, now I've got to work out how to do that live. Just decide, do I want to do it that way, or do I want to do it differently when I play it
Yeah.
live?
But again, I'm still more convinced that they do know what they want.
Yeah.
Apart from small nitpicks about what I may pick up on a song, I am convinced that they know as artists what they want to do,
Well,
and
they had a producer.
regardless of
Sorry, but
yeah, go ahead.
just let you know, they had a producer for that song who'd worked on one of their songs previously, Spoopy, which had the same sort of effect on it. And I feel like although he did the production, I feel like they very deliberately chose him for that song, because they were like, yeah, we want that song to have that kind of vibe again. Whereas the rest of the songs on both albums did not have that vibe in the same way, at very least. So, I would say, even though it went via a producer, I feel like they instigated that selection.
Like again, I would listen to, if you turn around to me and said, "Here, have a track from Trident," I'd happily listen to it, because I'm very confident in what I'm going to be listening to is going to be something that they know what they wanted to do. I'm not that they produced it, but they went about it in their way, and what they're going to produce is something, you know, as much as you can say 100% theirs. So, you know, fair play to them. Fair play to them.
Well, actually,
although I'm looking at this picture of the album cover or single cover, if it's a single. And just as I have weird feelings about the previous video, when I look at this picture, if you look at it, I was looking at going, why is the nose in the forehead and why does it have a big laser beside it? Because I was looking just below the eye and it looks like it has another eye just here. And then I saw the teeth and I was like, yeah, I need to listen to this song again. I've missed something. Just from looking at that picture, I was like,
I'll be honest with you. Like, so I've said this before. Now, I think everyone knows by now that I'm a big fan of TRiDENT. But when it comes to like album covers, they had like their previous few album covers to me looked like basically what happens when someone on the first day realizes that they've now paid for Photoshop Premium and can play with the effects. And then this one to me looked like what happens the first day that you find out you've got access to AI art and you go, I want big Japanese robot. It kind of all of their covers look really to me like someone who just doesn't have the ability of restraint and has just gone full on in and maybe overdone it. It's like the modern equivalent of when first people were able to make their own GeoCities websites and everyone's was just full of repeated GIFs.
Oh man, no. I
This
was
is
thinking
not
the
their
same
strong
thing.
point.
Except all I could think was somebody in the British Navy is a fan and heard they're called TRiDENT.
We're not doing that joke again, are we? Yeah, we keep on talking about how the British government keeps on trying to defund this band. Yeah, I don't care how hard the Tories try to defund this band. This funded by the UK taxpayers. This is why
namesake.
This is why you pay your taxes, Bubbles. You pay your taxes for more of.
I pay my taxes for internet access and to bring political satire to ears to the east for no other reason than I've had some sugar prior to this podcast.
Well, on that note, I was actually really interested on your opinions on that, especially as they slightly converged with some of the other things I've heard. But let's move on to track number 3 now. This is a really intriguing one. So this is QUBIT with for anyone who doesn't know, so QUBIT, relatively small band, like 3,000 subscribers, but their lead singer is Taoko, who's the internet famous, now very popular Japanese singer/rapper who gets like millions of views on everything she does. Just mysteriously is the lead singer of this group who have 3,000 subs. So this is a really interesting one, and I've made very strong opinions be known about this song. So, Bubbles, what do you think of this song?
That really goes against everything I know about this woman, which is I thought she was famous for her vocals and the fact that she could have a 3-in-1 haircut and she just could play it off, man.
She does look like she's got one haircut on top of another one, at least 2 haircuts. I'll give her that.
The worst part was I thought it was like QUBIT. It just reminds me of like an 8-bit Nintendo game. So I thought she was matching the hair for 8-bit. And
oh god, this isn't going to be a very good review, is it? Let's hear what we say.
It works on her. Okay. Now you know my love of keyboards and keyboard related.
I have seen
Japanese...
your keyboard tie. Yes.
Worst performing podcast episode ever.
I know,
Good
right?
news, Bubs. This song annoyed me.
Really? Okay.
Now, there's a couple of different reasons for this. Again, I like the idea of a band welcoming our new alien overlords. Always a good thing. Be open, be out there. You know what I mean? The disturbing amount of keyboard surplus in Japan right now. I didn't know inflation was hitting hard everywhere, but Jesus, they must be fucking throwing them off the back of trucks at this stage. And
he does have a lot of keyboards, doesn't he? He has more than one keyboard in that video.
No, the first appearance I've noticed since the 80s of a guitar.
Oh, Silent Siren have a guitar. Silent Siren have a guitar. That's Japan loves its guitars.
My God, I saw that thing and I just went, how does what I can only explain as an early 90s, Britpop band, get a guitar and get away with it. I
This
need to
is
know more.
interesting, actually. Yeah, I made a very strong reference to, well, I said like late 90s. I referenced a few late 90s Britpop things. Especially, actually, I got a slight vibe of Republica meets like, well, the Cardigans, actually. Like, Republica meets the Cardigans a little bit in this.
Yeah. Now, look, this song, I have to preference this. I didn't dislike the song,
Okay.
but I found whatever, maybe it's the video I was listening to, right? The song itself sounded one level, right? There was nothing about it that stood out. So I had a reasonably hard guitar on it, okay? No problem. But I couldn't feel it at all. Like, I could hear it. I knew it was there. I knew it was, let's call it the driving force, so to speak, in kind of propelling things along. And you have the whole synth and the keyboards there. You could hear them, but again, you weren't sure where they were fitting into things. Like when they were highlighted themselves, obviously they fit with the music itself. And again, it was a little bit of that whole loud, quiet thing going on. I think that's what they were going for in some of the areas of the song. Her vocals, I enjoyed them in the fact that she had different levels. Like Ano has like a really high vocals, and they don't really come down. It's like here, and then only the dead cats can hear her. But Trident, a bit more meatier vocals, for want of a better term, bit more variation, but you can feel there's a punch behind her voice,
Yeah.
With this one, I didn't get the same. I knew she was rapping, I knew she was singing, but I think because the whole video felt to me like it was on one level. And yes, I listened to it both with these and on my speakers, and that's where I think it lost me. Visually, I really liked the video because it took in so many different kind of things that I'd seen in the past, but it had done them well. Like the animation style felt more like a paper mache, stop motion kind of thing. That they were going for that look, if not the execution. The fact that the movement of her specifically was more geared towards that kind of stop motion kind of way, or old janky videos, basically dial up, how it goes, you're missing a few frames and stuff like that. Not entirely sure what the spaghetti bolognese had to do with anything, but then again,
there is a
his noodle
did you
his noodly appendage will let us all know.
I'm guessing probably not, but did you read the lyrics at any point?
Good God, no. I have
Okay.
not read
Okay,
or
'cause
translated the lyrics for this because, my God, man, this is the absolute joy.
His noodly appendage is probably more close to what's actually going on in that video than you might realize. This video is not only taking visual cues, but it's taking cues from like religion, science fiction. It's like, so there is, I'm pretty certain based on that and the lyrics that is actually a flying spaghetti monster reference.
Yeah. I was looking at it the same, and I just enjoyed the fact that it's more of like, it's drawn in an informational style. Like, it's not drawn as the flying spaghetti. It's just more of a do. Hey kids.
Well, I mean, when I did my review of this, I didn't even manage to hit on just the vast number of references. I mean, there's one like 2 minutes 20 through where I realized they actually directly copy the backing vocals from Monkey Wrench by Foo Fighters. I was like, are you kidding? I was like, there is like some really amazingly intricate details in this. But I guess the biggest question I really wanted to cover here, because you've made an interesting point about the sound of it, which is actually different from what I've maybe heard other people say. How did you feel about the overall progression of the song? Because it makes me feel from what you're saying like it kind of lost you, like it didn't hold on to you. Is that kind of how you felt about it?
The thing about it is that when everything sounds like it's at one level, it doesn't matter what you do. It's like it's everything playing the same style, same note, and holding it. That's what it felt like. And I didn't get to I didn't get to hear those kind of progressions that you're talking about. But I'm really interested. I'll have to find maybe another copy of it.
For me,
and I think,
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so when I was, because I listened to it a few times because I knew I was missing something, and they had enough there to grab me with the visuals, because I could see from the visuals on it they were trying to tell a particular story, okay, maybe in the abstract, but because of that, if I'm watching that, I would kind of expect their music not to go off kilter, if you know what I mean, not bounce around the map all the way, but certainly have some, I don't know, some unexpected techniques in it, or maybe, as you said yourself, they would, just take a riff from somewhere, maybe as a homage, or maybe that it's just something that fits more with the song, like Foo Fighters. Obviously, you have the UFOs, not just a rock band, but that's what it's all kind of based on. And even Dave Grohl appeared in the X-Files once. Sans beard. There you go, kids. There's your little Easter egg.
So now you know that the X-Files and Bill and Ted are the same universe. There you go. Right.
Can you put the X-Files theme over my face right now? I want to believe. Now, I gotta say, like, I think this one lost me. I'm gonna blame the what, like, this video is obviously from the site. I just didn't hear, or alternatively, to take a bit of blame myself, the progressions and changes are too subtle, and I was expecting something and I wasn't hearing it. But because I was expecting something, I was looking over here when I should have been looking over there.
I think I think that the biggest takeaway that I probably get from this song is that the ways that it builds up its progression they're things that, in a way, you'd say they're very on the nose, but it's the sort of thing that I don't think most people would look for. Like, there's little factors like the fact the song actually only has 2 choruses, that the bridge is like slapped between the second verse and the second pre-chorus. The pre-chorus the second time round is virtually indistinguishable from the first time round. The fact that the bridge reappears layered over the second chorus. There's these little things that they're so seamless, and they're so, like, you're not at any point signposted to look for them, that in a way it really catches you off guard. But the truth is that actually it's doing some pretty on the nose, abnormal, well, not unprecedented, but sort of outside of what you'd expect from a traditional run of the mill chuck it out song. So
what you're describing to me sounds more like a musical, like a stage show musical medley.
Yeah, like there is a degree of that.
Yeah, sort of like the end of the first act kind of thing, and you're going for the intermission, and they'd have all the songs or something like that. You know, they'd
it's
all
all
play them
about
all together.
crescendo. It's all about crescendo.
Yeah.
Which is why the song ends on such a very direct, heavy last note. I mean, the song builds up and it just ends on that note, and it's very deliberate because you can tell it's built up and it ends at the exact right point. So that was kind of like I felt that the structure was the major selling point of that song, but I don't think that's something that a lot of people picked up on.
I would like to hear more from
felt. Yeah, because I mean, if you don't feel it, it doesn't matter if I describe it. If you don't feel it, it doesn't matter. So I was kind of always wondering whether this just appealed to me because, as someone who, I don't really look so much at musicianship. I look a hell of a lot more at how the song's written, because that's what really gets me into a song. So I was kind of intrigued whether is this song just something that's really ticking all the boxes for me, or is it like
There's I do think there's something there. Like I described, the only reason that I think that is because of the visuals, and because a little bit about the music and the excessive amount of keyboards. Gakarak spin. The keyboard off. I don't know. Like does he just pull it out like a samurai sword? Then you just use the handle like a.
I don't know about him, but Oreo would definitely do that. Oreo would catch us, she'd be doing that. Yeah.
Mate, she'd be dual wielding, man. Dual wielding. But look, I have to say, I would look forward to seeing anything else. It's like the boxing glove on the scissor.
Yeah. It just flies out, smacks you and comes back. And then she's holding the other one like a big sort of Final Fantasy sword with a keytar. Yeah, I can imagine her like going into combat with key instruments. I'm down for that.
I have to say, I'll enjoy the next thing I see from them. I think it's more in the case of once I get a bit more of a taste of them, I will enjoy it. I'm definitely not going to shit on them and say, no, this is the worst thing ever. Because I can see a lot of influences. I can see a lot of thought on what they want to do. So for any artist that I can kind of get that impression from, I'm more than willing to kind of listen to more of their stuff. Because, again, whether it's the first album or the 15th album, you never know what you might be missing out on.
Well, before we move on to the last song, I mean, so I said these 3 songs at this point have a through line, a sort of matter. I should point out that song, the last song we talked about by QUBIT, Beautiful Days, that is the only song I've ever heard by that band. I believe they're relatively recent. That song only just came out. I'm guessing you can probably get a rough idea of simply why I chose those 3 songs.
Animal Farm, the sequel. We have, yes, we're going to play with language. We are going to make you say tinkle so much more than you ever thought possible. It's Twinkle, you fuckers. And for this one, it's Beautiful Days. And I think it's just the whole 8-bit 80s vibe. I'm going to say you're making fun of my childhood. That's all I know at this moment in time. And I don't know why you're using Japanese bands to do so. I appreciate the thought. And this close to Valentine's, you being this messy about it, fuck me. You left. You left me. That's what I'm saying.
I thought there'd be a bit of foreplay for a change this year. In simplest terms, I mean, basically the reason why I wanted to play these 3 songs to you is since we did the end of year awards on Bucker Broadcast, I would say these are the 3. So these are quite easily my 3 favorite songs to have come out since we did the awards. These are the 3 songs that I've been most excited about. 3 which have really caught me most. Maybe go, yep, I am so glad. I'm definitely going to be holding on to that for next year. These are like 3 songs that have just really sort of spoken to me. So it's kind of like just very personally because these are 3 songs that I was really, really excited about. So I was just kind of interested, without telling you that in advance, to see how they affected you. Because that brings us on to an interesting one, because the 4th one is a song that I think you already know that I really like, but this is going back a little bit further into last year. And we haven't really talked about this, but this is the big release of last year. This is the head turner of last year, and I needed to talk to you about this because it was Tom Morello, BABYMETAL Metali. I sent you the video, I sent you the song. I know we've briefly spoken about this in the past, but I wanted to get you to watch it, listen to it, and give me a review of quite possibly the biggest Japanese song of last year, because how could we not?
Firstly, you got the name wrong. The name of the song is Russia. I don't care what anybody fucking says.
Hey, hold up, what?
Yeah? Listen to the last fucking chorus entry.
You mean Russia? You mean Russia?
Russia!
Russia!
Just because I say Russia with a speech impediment.
You have misunderstood a lot of Japanese culture here, and that's exactly what I brought you here for. Right, so yeah, so for anyone who's wondering, if you don't know the phrase "washoi," it is just yes, it is just a way of referring to Russia in Japanese, apparently. I guess Russia. So Tom,
Personally,
this is Tom Morello's
it
love
was-
letter to Russia via Japan.
It is a radical statement on the naval engagement Japan had with Russia during the early 1910s.
Oh God, no! Let's not do this. Let's not do this. Russia. Are you saying this is like a song about defecting?
No, it's where the Japanese Navy beat the Russian Navy in you know when you go around Korea and there's like a bay where I can't remember the name of it.
Oh God, I love how you didn't do the research for this joke at all.
No, I know that this is a historical fact, but I just don't. I'm not in possession of all the facts because I didn't know I was going to be dealing with Animal Farm, fucking Happy Home Time Rock, and whatever QUBIT did. And then all to hear, it's just an ego trip for you because the other two co-presenters fucked off because they were like, we didn't get him a Valentine's gift this year. Let's just go on the sly and say we're sick. All right, that is waste man fucking bullshit going on there.
So thoughts on the song? Dude. I am sorry. We've broken bubbles.
Tom Morello is actually Lou Bega, and this was the remake of Mambo Number 5 we deserved in 2024.
I am so lost. Somehow provide a review of this song. Just...
It was the girls' response to Lou Bega, and they got Tom Morello to stand in for Lou Bega.
This episode is so far over time now that I have no idea if I even want to ask you what you're talking about.
I really enjoyed it. I did. I just enjoyed it.
I don't know what happened.
It was a baby metal track. They came out in their shiny tinfoil. They looked amazing. It was just a lovely mashup of things going on there. Tom Morello with the most awkward dad face at the end, with the kids sitting on his guitar.
He did look a little bit like he was trying to hype it up while standing in a green screen room. And it's like, yeah, they will love this back in Japan. It's like, I'm in LA. It's like, just look like you're in Japan. It's like, okay.
I think you
Bless
actually
Tom
put
Morello.
a screenshot of that for the awards.
I did.
And it was that picture. And I was like, dear God. Nobody talked to this man clearly wants to connect with his kids for some reason. I thought Tom Morello was a good dad. But the song itself, the video was a bit too much on the old green screen with Tom wondering about the back.
said that.
Everything else was, I have to say, everything else, I really just enjoyed it. It was just a fun song for me to listen to.
I mean, the green screen was charming, but I couldn't help but feel like they could have done something a little bit better because it started off so strong. When it went into the green screen bit, I was like, oh, is this where the budget ran out? You know. But it was
I don't
charming.
think it was that.
I just thought they could have done more. When you look at like the
kind
Anor video and you look at how much they achieved, I'm pretty sure that BABYMETAL had enough budget to go to that level at least.
Yeah, but she stole all the workers' scratch cards and got the fucking winning tickets to make that happen.
I did.
But
forget
BABYMETAL, I can only I can only say
leading all the mice off to the gulag.
it's BABYMETAL. It's not so much that BABYMETAL can't miss. It's just that I'm genuinely surprised that with each iteration that I see of them, I don't just mean member changes or anything like that. I mean, every time I see them, I just see a very clear and sure band. Now, I don't know. I've never delved too much into their background in terms of whether they have that much control over their own artistry or anything like that. But what I see is something that is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I see something that is done, that's enjoyable, and it does come across as there's a lot of life in it, you know. So I don't really have a problem with Baby Metal.
We weren't questioning your love of baby metal. I promise. No.
They're just a joy to be around, but I think that's all I need to say on it. You know, it.
Well, I mean, the thing is that like, so when it comes to the various eras of baby metal, I think the one thing that's true is they started obviously as this joyful thing. It was like, hey, can we have a pop group, very idly cute young pop group doing metal. And it was never meant to blow up, but it blew up and people really took to it. And then they got older and then it became a two-piece and everything got much more serious because then it was obviously, you didn't have the same group dynamic. And I think that maybe for everyone who loves them, there was obviously always a feeling with some is like, oh, have we lost a little bit of that initial joy? And so then bringing back a third member felt like maybe this will be a step in the right direction. And then I think when this video came out, it was the first time in a while where they went, oh, look, that's that same sense of slightly chaotic silliness that we were missing. I think the sort of silliness came back a lot, which that's certainly what I got from it. I was kind of just like happy to see a sort of a gleeful madness on screen. A little bit of a chaos that have maybe been missing for a while.
I just wanted to see destruction of styrofoam sets, but yeah, okay, we'll go with that as well.
There was someone online who was like, apparently, they said they were Japanese, don't know, but there was someone online who posted this thing where they were like really upset about the video, and they were like talking about how that's disrespectful to historic Japanese places and how you shouldn't actually wear your shoes inside a traditional Japanese building, and for them to kick things is extremely disrespectful. And although I kind of get the point, I was like, dude, you must realize that is not a real building. So just want to cover with you that you do realize this is it's like a joke, right? It's like if someone took it seriously and actually behaved like that, then yes, but that would be on the person who took it seriously, not on them for making this like video, right? Can we
three walls, no roof, and a free band? That's a squat. You can do anything in a squat.
It's a very, very pretty looking squat. And I must say that the hippie buskers they've got, they bring their own fox masks and play a shamisen. It's very high quality. It's a good place to squat.
It's part of a movement, really. You get a free Tom Morello with every squat. It's true.
He just travels between them. He travels between them.
He's all for giving property back to the masses. Fair play to him. And making miniature Japanese women even more miniature for some reason. I don't know what that's about.
I must say though that I just thought this song was it was just a real joy. It's not like reinventing anything too big for Baby Metal. It just feels like it feels like a good step into. It doesn't feel like a rehash, which you never want. You want them to always be like kind of pushing forwards, and reinvention is so quintessential to what they are. But at the same time, it's just got this little bit of reminding you of how they can just sometimes be creatively very playful and fun. Yeah, and Tom Morello, I just think he was the right person for it. I mean, his whole sound, accessible but a little bit mental, that's exactly what they needed.
He didn't take away from the track by being there.
No, yeah, exactly.
It was everything I would expect of Tom Morello guesting, I don't know how much he was actually playing throughout the song, if you know what I mean.
I had wonders about that as well.
But for me, like, I thought what he did on guitar kept with everything that was going on, both audio and visual. So, no complaints. Again, Lou Bega for communism. It's a new look. But, I'm going to go with it. Man's aged. Leave him alone.
I had this similar question that I don't know how much of guitar he played. I mean, like, the initial riff that comes in at the beginning, that sounds very Tom Morello, but it could just be that they wrote a very Tom Morello-y riff because they knew who was going to be on it, or it could be that he wrote that. Either way, though, I mean, his as you say, it feels both seamless as a Baby Metal song, but his entrance into the song also feels just totally seamless. You're just like, slips straight into it perfectly. I noticed that his guitar starts quite early, but it's not too intrusive, and then it builds up towards the end. And yeah, I just think I think it's a really good matchup and best of both worlds.
In that kind of style, that's what you want.
Yeah.
It's not a rap battle. You know, you don't have one rapper trying to beat the other. You don't have one musician trying to outdo the other.
Yeah.
You want that kind of blend when it comes to kind of rock music.
It's
but
a collaboration. Yeah.
I've enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed this.
I know. We should do it.
It was
more.
lots of fun.
We should do it more.
Okay.
So
let's just check the comment section on that.
I was about to say you're gonna and you're gonna have to deal with like killing the other two presenters first of all because they'll be back and they'll be.
For every negative comment, I put one negative dislike on each of their videos. That's the warning. If you actually look at their videos, there's no dislikes on them.
Well, you can't see because YouTube keeps them hidden. His channel lives on dislikes. All right, so I think we'll wrap this one up for now. We're going to do more with Bubbles, and hopefully we'll be catching you guys. But as always, get in the comments, tell us what you think. Let us know if you want to present anything to Bubbles that he can respond to with his wonderful, wonderful perspective on things. I'm gonna just be looking at Anna now, wondering why she's the leader of the communist mice against Puking Cat's party. But and Luke,
she's actually the fat cat in this one. In terms of capitalism, I'm disturbed by the overabundance of tidy whities in Japan that fit cats. But you know, we all have our issues to deal with.
And Mumbo Number Metali, and yeah, we go. So we'll call it quits on that one. See you in the next video. And until then, remember to keep your ears to the east. I'm trying to point at Bubbles. I'm trying to like... Can you feel it, Bubbles?
Should I flex?
I'm just trying to see if you can.
Can you
feel
flex?
It. Oh.
I can always feel you when you're fisting me.